They laughed at him in the village square, not because he was funny, but because he dared to speak. His clothes were torn, his voice trembled, and when he warned them that power was coming, grown men wiped tears from their eyes from laughing too hard. "Who are you?" they mocked. "A nobody, a madman, a poor moon with big dreams." But 3 days later, when black SUVs rolled down the dusty road, when armed guards stood at his gate, and when a powerful knock shook his mud house, no one was laughing anymore. The mun no one heard. In the village of Umidike, words were cheap, but respect was expensive, and Kelechi Moy had none. At 32, Kelechi was known for 3 things. He was poor. He talked too much. He spoke as if he knew something no one else did. His clothes were always the same. A faded brown shirt with a torn collar, trousers patched so many times they looked quilted, and worn sandals that slapped the red earth with every step. People said he talked like a man who had seen the world. But Umidike knew better. Kelechi had never left the village. No city, no education past primary school, no connections. So when he spoke, people laughed. The day he spoke too loud. That morning, the sun burned hot and unforgiving. Villagers gathered under the old Irako tree, the place where elders settled disputes and announced decisions. The village council was meeting, and everyone had come to listen. Everyone except Kelechi. At least, that's what they hoped. But there he was, standing at the edge of the crowd, eyes sharp, hands clenched. Chief Okri, heavy-bellied and respected, cleared his throat. "We have decided," the chief said, "to lease the eastern farmlands to the city developers. It will bring money, progress." A murmur of approval rose. Money meant survival. But then, "You are selling your future." Silence fell like a slap. All eyes turned. Kelechi had stepped forward. Chief Okri squinted. "Did you speak, Kelechi?" "Yes," Kelechi said, voice shaking, but firm. "You are selling land that does not belong to you alone. That land feeds widows. It feeds children. And the men you are dealing with, they are liars." For one heartbeat, no one reacted. Then laughter exploded. Men bent over, clutching their stomachs. Women covered their mouths. Even the chief smiled. "Listen to him," someone shouted. "The village prophet has spoken." Another added, "Kelechi, how many goats did you drink this morning?" Kelechi's face burned, but he didn't step back. "I know what I'm saying," he insisted. "These men will take the land and leave you with nothing. And when the truth comes, power itself will knock on my door." The laughter doubled. Chief Okri waved his hand dismissively. "Enough. You are poor because you talk nonsense. Sit down." Kelechi looked around. Not one person defended him, not even his own relatives. So he turned and walked away, through the laughter, through the dust, back to his small mud house at the edge of the village. The house no one visited. Kelechi lived alone. His parents had died years earlier, his father a farmer, his mother a palm oil trader. They left him nothing but a cracked house and a lesson they repeated until death. Speak the truth, even when it makes you lonely. At night, Kelechi sat by a flickering kerosene lamp, opening an old leather notebook. Inside were names, dates, numbers, things no one believed he could understand. What Umidike didn't know, what they never bothered to ask, was that years ago, Kelechi had saved a stranger's life on the roadside. A stranger who talked softly, a stranger who listened, a stranger who never laughed at him. And before leaving, that stranger had said, "One day, when they laugh at you the loudest, remember this, truth has powerful friends." Kelechi closed the notebook. Outside, the village laughed on. Inside, he waited, because he knew something they didn't. Power was already on its way. When money came first, the very next morning, Umidike woke up smiling. Word had spread faster than Harmattan fire. The developers are coming today. Women swept their compounds early. Men ironed their best shirts. Even children rehearsed greetings in English. Hope had entered the village, not as wisdom, but as money. The arrival of the big men. By noon, The dust road trembled. 3 shiny SUVs appeared at the edge of Umidike, their engines growling like animals that had never known hunger. They stopped near the Irako tree. Men in clean shoes stepped out. City men, dark glasses, polished watches, perfumed confidence. Chief Okri rushed forward, smiling so wide his cheeks hurt. "Welcome, welcome," he boomed. "You are most welcome to Umidike." The villagers clapped. Someone whispered, "See the cars." Another replied, "Our suffering has ended." Only one house remained quiet. Kalechi's, the meeting without a voice. Under the Irako tree, chairs were arranged. The lead developer introduced himself as Mr. Lawson. "We are here to bring development," he said smoothly. "Jobs, roads, electricity, progress." Cheers erupted. Chief Okri nodded eagerly. "The land is ready. The people agree." Kalechi stood at the back of the crowd, silent. Every word he had spoken yesterday echoed in his mind. Lawson pulled out documents. "All we need are signatures. Once done, payment will be released immediately." The elders leaned forward. Pens hovered. Then, what happens to the farmers during construction? The crowd turned. Kalechi had spoken again. Groans followed instantly. "Not this man again," someone muttered. Lawson adjusted his glasses, surprised. "And who are you?" "A son of this land," Kalechi replied. "And these farms feed more than stomachs. They feed dignity." Laughter returned, softer but sharper. Chief Okri snapped. "Kalechi, leave this place before you disgrace us again." Lawson smiled thinly. "Don't worry, Chief. Every project has noise." Noise. That's all Kalechi was to them. So he turned away. Again, the celebration. By evening, the deal was done. Money exchanged hands. Palm wine flowed like rain. Drums spoke joy into the night. Women danced. Men boasted. Promises flew higher than the stars. This village will be known. My son will work for them. Finally, light will come. Kalechi walked past the celebration, unseen. At the edge of the village, he stopped. He looked back once, not with anger, with sadness. The notebook opens again. That night, Kalechi sat alone. The kerosene lamp flickered. He opened the old leather notebook again. This time, he turned to a page marked with a red thread. He traced a name with his finger. Lawson. He exhaled slowly. "So it is you," he whispered. Memories returned. A broken car years ago. Blood on the roadside. A moon shaking in fear. The stranger he saved. The moon who promised truth had powerful friends. Kalechi reached for his old phone. Its screen was cracked. He dialed a number he had never used before. The line rang once, twice. Then a voice answered, calm, controlled, and dangerous. "Yes." Kalechi spoke quietly. "They have arrived." There was a pause. Then the voice said, "Good. Stay where you are. Do not speak again." The call ended. When fear replaced laughter. For 2 days, Umidike slept well. Money has a way of calming even guilty minds. Chief Okri bought new wrappers for his wife. Young men drank like kings. Elders spoke proudly of the future. But on the third morning, something changed. Strangers who didn't greet. Before sunrise, unfamiliar vehicles appeared. Not shiny SUVs this time. Plain, dark cars. No logos. No greetings. They parked quietly at different corners of the village. Men stepped out, calm, watchful, disciplined. They didn't laugh. They didn't bargain. They didn't greet elders. They only watched. Villagers whispered, "Who are they?" "They don't look like workers." "Why are they standing near Kalechi's house?" Yes, 2 of the men stood across the road from Kalechi's mud house. The moon they worn too late. Kalechi noticed them immediately. He did not panic. He cooked his gari. He washed his face. He sat on a wooden stool outside his house. When one of the men approached, Kalechi didn't stand. "Good morning," the man said politely. Kalechi nodded. "Good morning." You were told not to speak again, the Mun added softly. I have not spoken, Kalechi replied. The Mun smiled faintly. Good. Then he walked away. From that moment, fear entered Yumidike. Whispers turned into questions. By afternoon, rumors grew legs. Someone said the land documents were being reviewed again. Another claimed the developers had frozen payments. A third swore he saw Chief Okri arguing on the phone. People began to remember Kalechi's words. Not loudly, quietly. Women whisper while pounding yam. Men lowered their voices at the palm wine joint. That poor man. What if he knew something? Why are those men guarding his house? No one laughed anymore. The first crack. That evening, a young farmer named Chinidu ran through the village. They blocked the eastern farmland, he shouted. They say nobody should enter. Panic followed. That land is ours. They promised we could still farm. But when some men approached the area, they met firm resistance. No access until further notice, a dark-suited man said. No explanation, no negotiation, only authority. Chief Okri tried to intervene. He returned home sweating. A visit without an invitation. Night fell. Kalechi was inside when a soft knock came. Not loud, not threatening. Controlled. He opened the door. A Mun in a dark suit entered alone. He removed his shoes respectfully. The time is close, the Mun said. Kalechi nodded. Are they ready to hear? Kalechi asked. The Mun paused. They are ready to fear. Kalechi closed his eyes briefly. I didn't want fear, he said. I wanted truth. The Mun looked at him carefully. Truth always arrives with power behind it. The village that couldn't sleep. That night, Yumidike stayed awake. No drums, no laughter, no celebration. Only questions, only regret. Only one house remained calm. Kalechi's, because he had spoken when it was hardest. And now, power was almost at his door. When the mask fell, morning came without greeting. No rooster crowed. No children laughed. Yumidike woke up heavy. The summons. Before the sun climbed high, a message spread through the village. All elders and land signatories must gather under the Irako tree immediately. No explanation. No request. A command. Men walked quickly. Some adjusted their caps nervously. Others avoided eye contact. Chief Okri's face was pale. The return of the big cars. This time, the vehicles did not stop at the village entrance. They drove straight in. 5 black SUVs. Engines silent. Windows dark. They parked in a perfect line under the Irako tree. The same place where Kalechi had been laughed at. Men stepped out. Firm. Composed. Then Mr. Lawson emerged. But he was not smiling. The truth spoken loudly. One of the dark-suited men addressed the crowd. We represent a federal investigative task unit. Gasp spread. We are investigating large-scale land fraud, illegal displacement, and false development schemes. Lawson's face drained of color. Chief Okri tried to speak. Officer, there must be a misunderstanding. There is none, the Mun replied coldly. He raised a file. This project was never approved. The money paid to some of you was stolen public funds. The crowd murmured. Hands trembled. Eyes searched for escape. The name they didn't expect. Then the officer said, the whistleblower who exposed this operation lives in this village. Silence. A name hung in the air. Kalechi Nwoi. The ground shifted. People turned. Some in shock. Some in shame. Chief Okri staggered. Him, someone whispered. That poor man. Lawson looked up sharply. Realization struck him like thunder. The arrest. Handcuffs clicked. Lawson was restrained first. Then 2 village elders. Chief Okri's voice cracked. I didn't know. I swear. The officer met his eyes. You knew enough to ignore truth. Lawson struggled once. Then stopped. He glanced toward Kalechi's house in the distance. Slowly, he bowed his head. A silent apology. As the arrested men were escorted away, the village stood frozen. No celebration. No shouting. Only regret. An elderly woman broke the silence. We laughed at the one God sent. Her words cut deeper than any accusation. The knock, that evening, as the sun melted into red dust, a knock came at Kelechi's door. This time, not from power, from people, men, women, elders. They stood quietly. Chief Okri's wife wept openly. "Kelechi," she said, "forgive us." Kelechi looked at them, long, carefully. "I spoke because I love this land," he said, "not because I wanted honor." When the quiet moon became a voice, the night after the arrest, Yumidike did not sleep, not because of fear this time, but because of shame. Doors that once stayed shut now opened slowly. Faces that once laughed now looked down. And at the edge of the village, in a small mud house that no one ever visited, a light burned through the night. The moon who refused revenge. Kelechi sat alone, the kerosene lamp humming softly. His old notebook lay open. For the first time in many years, the pages felt lighter. A knock came. Soft, careful. Kelechi opened the door. A young boy stood there, barefoot, trembling. "My father sent me," the boy said. He said, "Please come to the Irako tree tomorrow. The whole village will be there." Kelechi nodded. "Tell your father I will come." The boy hesitated. "Are you angry with us?" Kelechi knelt to the boy's level. "No," he said gently. "I am sad that truth had to arrive with pain." The boy ran off. Kelechi closed the door. And for the first time, he prayed, not for himself, but for the village that had wounded him. The day the village stood still. By morning, Yumidike gathered like never before. No drums, no music, no celebration, only silence. Men stood without pride. Women held their wrappers tight. Children watched, confused but quiet. Then Kelechi arrived, walking, not escorted, not protected, just walking. People stepped aside instinctively. The same place where he was mocked now waited for him. The speech no one laughed at. Chief Okri's seat was empty. The Irako tree cast a long shadow. Kelechi stood under it. He did not raise his voice. He did not insult anyone. He spoke like a man who had already forgiven. "You laughed at me," he said calmly, "and I understand why." Murmurs rose. "You laugh because poverty makes truth look foolish. You laugh because a poor man's warning sounds like jealousy. You laugh because listening is harder than mocking." Heads bowed. He continued, "I did not expose the truth to punish this village. I did it to protect it." Tears fell. Strong men wept openly. The confession. Then something unexpected happened. An elder stepped forward. Then another. Then another. Confessions poured out. "I took money. I signed without reading. I knew it was wrong." Kelechi raised his hand. "Stop," he said. "Confession without change is just noise." The silence returned. The power that chose him. Later that day, the black SUVs returned. This time, they stopped at Kelechi's door. Villagers watched from a distance. A senior official stepped out. "Kelechi Moy," he said respectfully, "your integrity saved this land. We want you to represent Yumidike in all future negotiations." Gasps. The official added, "You will be trained, protected, paid." Everyone waited. Kelechi thought for a moment. Then he said, "I will serve, but not alone." He turned to the crowd. "This village will rise together, or not at all." The change that followed. Months passed. Real development came. Slow, honest, clean. Electric poles stood tall. Water flowed. Schools reopened. Kelechi's house was rebuilt, but he kept it simple. He still wore modest clothes, still greeted everyone, still listened more than he spoke. But now, when Kelechi spoke, everyone listened. The final moral. Sometimes, the poorest voice carries the richest truth. Sometimes, laughter is not wisdom. It is fear in disguise. And sometimes, the one you ignore today is the one God chooses to protect you tomorrow.